Can we ask Richard Maclean to please come forward? The seat awaits. All right. Too often the term hero is used in the incorrect context. A true hero is a dad or a mom who, in rearing their children, have an impact that will last a lifetime. A fireman, a policeman, emergency responder, member of a search and rescue team is a true hero. A man or woman coming to the aid of someone in trouble is a true hero. Richard Dick Maclean was a hero. His impact on youth in Nova Scotia was far-reaching. As a dad to his own children, as a teacher and school principal who made a difference in thousands of kids' lives, as a man who stepped up when his help was needed in dozens of causes, specifically amateur boxing, in which he touched the lives of many. Hall of Famer Rick Anderson was a young man who was influenced by Dick Maclean.
No question, Dick was a mentor. If there was anybody, I would look up to, it would be Dick. And if there's anybody who would push me along and who would guide me and focus me, would be Dick Maclean.
As principal at Bloomfield School for almost 20 years, this bear of a man instituted the city's first hot lunch program. In semi-retirement, he took on a new challenge in 2001, traveling for extended periods to Mexico, where he and his wife Carol taught English as a second language. Among many other community commitments, Dick served as chair of the Halifax-Mexico Community Alliance, the Halifax Housing Authority, the Halifax City Recreation Committee, Nova Scotia Wheelchair Sports, and was co-chair of the Halifax Residential Tenancies Board. Former Halifax Mayor Walter Fitzgerald and Dick were great friends, and eventually Dick became Walter's assistant.
He'd say yes to everything. And believe it or not, he'd carry that yes out to action. And that used to surprise me.
But it's boxing for which Dick Maclean is being recognized as a sport builder. And legendary boxing coach Taylor Gordon sought out Dick when he needed help.
In '72, I started to set up a new a gymnasium, and I had been in a couple of different locations in Halifax, but I had no stable position, and somebody suggested to me that I go and see the people over at Bloomfield School because some of the facilities were not being used there, and that's how I met Dick Maclean, and I introduced myself to him and told him what I was up to. And to be honest with you, it was a fairly easy sell because what I did was convince Dick that we'd be better off to have the kids off the street and in the gym doing something constructive, and Dick bought it wholehearted.
A couple of years later, Taylor coerced Dick to be an administrator, and here's that story.
I convinced Dick that he should be the president of the Citadel Amateur Boxing Club. So he came in and started in an administrative capacity in sports, and that was in 1974. And then he later, of course, became president of Boxing Nova Scotia and president of Boxing Canada. So he went from the local guy on the scene who didn't have any boxing background at that time. He had sports background, but not boxing. But then he went right to the top.
Dick also served as vice president of the Canadian Professional Boxing Association, was a member of the Federal Royal Commission Task Force on Boxing that developed the basis for safety regulations for boxing in Canada. In Nova Scotia, he chaired the Nova Scotia Boxing Authority and was a founding member and chair of the International Youth Gaelic Boxing Championships. Dick also served as representative of the Commonwealth Games Boxing Organization, was Canada's Olympic boxing representative in 1980 and 1984, and was a consultant to the White House Presidential Advisory Board, the Olympic boycott, back in 1980. He was inducted into the Canadian Boxing Hall of Fame in 1999 and the Canadian Amateur Boxing Hall of Fame in 2000. Dick saw the world through boxing, attending 2 Olympic Games, 4 Commonwealth Games, and 2 World Boxing Championship meets. And he was instrumental in getting kids involved in boxing.
Well, Dick was, I think, a tremendous support for amateur boxing and build amateur boxing. I mean, he was on every most committees trying to build amateur boxing in Nova Scotia. He was on the Canadian Amateur Boxing Federation committee. He was on the Commonwealth Games committee. He was on most committees that helped build boxing in Nova Scotia. And I tell you, if there was anybody who would fight for amateur boxing in Nova Scotia, it would be Dick Maclean.